Hello, and welcome to another episode of Jeff Reads Wikipedia. I am Jeff, who reads Wikipedia. I am excited to say that we have our first request, or I'm honoring the very first request of what you would like to see Jeff read on Wikipedia. We have a request from an old college buddy, going back to the college days. My friend Steve Kanicki, I believe it's Steve Kanicki, has commented on the Merkin video, making his request. And here's what he has said. He has written, well, Jeff, well, Jeff, you finally got me to watch something you made since meeting you in college because of the pictures of trash in your thumbnail. Lol. Please read about the Wojtek, I believe that's how you pronounce that word, next. I got a tattoo of him because it's such an interesting story. So what is the Wojtek? Well, it's time that we found out. Apparently, the Wojtek, or a Wojtek, is a bear. That's right. Look at this little bear guy right here. Look at him. That's him. That's the Wojtek with some guy, Russian military guy or Polish. Right. It's Wojtek. Sounds more like I think that's some sort of Slavic, right? Maybe. I don't know. Here's another picture, chained up. Poor Wojtek is chained up right there. All right, let's read about the Wojtek, shall we? Wojtek, 1942 to 1963. Wojtek. So it's not with a W. In Polish, first of all, it's Polish, not Russian. Pardon me. Sometimes in English, sometimes it's spelled Wojtek. Wojtek. That's how it is. Wojtek. Okay. Forgive me. Oh my God, are we live right now? How is this possible? Am I actually live on what? I'm not supposed to be. Oh my Lord, I'm live right now. This was a mistake. I'm supposed to be pre-taping this. You're not supposed to be watching this, people. Well, it's too late now. Now we're live. Okay, fine. It is what it is. I'm just gonna read this. Okay, so welcome. I wasn't expecting anybody to be here, but welcome. I have another video coming at 1 p.m. I just keep making these mistakes. Why did I think that I thought this was going to be a private stream? Okay, sorry. So what is the Wojtek? By the way, for those of you tuning in, this is Jeff Reads Wikipedia. That's what I do. I read Wikipedia entries that you give me. Do you have a Wikipedia entry, particularly something weird and wild? Come talk to me. I want to read it. Anyway, the Wojtek was a Syrian brown bear bought as a young cub at a railway station in Hamadan, Iran, by Polish Two Corps. Let's see what the Polish Two Corps were. They were, okay, the Polish Two Corps from 1943 to 1947 was a major tactical and operational unit of the Polish Armed Forces in the West during World War II. It was commanded by Lieutenant General Anders and fought with a distinction in the Italian campaign. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, now we know what that is. So these soldiers had been evacuated from the Soviet Union during World War II in order to provide for the rations of this bear, the Wojtek bear, and transportation. He was eventually enlisted officially as a soldier with the rank of private and was subsequently promoted to corporal. So we have a bear that became enlisted in the army. Crazy situation. He accompanied the bulk of the Two Corps to Italy, serving with the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. So they loved this bear, and they loved him so much that in order to provide food for him, they had to officially enlist him in the army. It sounds like an adult version of a kid's movie where a cop becomes a dog, or a dog becomes a cop, I mean to say. During the Battle of Monte Cassino in Italy in 1944, Wojtek helped move crates of ammunition and became a celebrity, visiting Allied generals and statesmen. So kind of like a mascot that also moved around artillery. I wonder what that did for morale in the unit to have this bear. I bet that's that's pretty interesting. After the war, mustered out of the Polish army, he was billeted. All right, let's see what billeted means. That's what we do here. We look up words we don't understand. Billet, a place, usually a civilian's house or other non-military facility where soldiers are lodged temporarily, but it can also be used as a verb. He was billeted and lived out the rest of his life at the Edinburgh Zoo in Scotland. Cool. All right, let's read a little bit about the history of the life of this military bear, a bear that fought in World War II. How about that? In the spring of 1942, the newly formed Anders Army, which was, sorry, we got to hover over the thing. Anders Army was the informal yet common name of the Polish armed forces in the East from the 1941 to 1942 period in recognition of its commander, Anders. The army was created in the Soviet Union, but in March of 1942, based on understanding between the British, and that's where the thing is, so we're going to stop there. Left the Soviet Union for Iran, accompanied by thousands of Polish citizens who had been deported to the Soviet Union following the 1939 Soviet invasion of Poland, which the Soviet invasion of Poland was a military operation by the Soviet Union without a formal declaration of war. So not only was Poland invaded by Hitler, it was also invaded by Soviet Russia. On the 17th of December 1939, the Soviet Union invaded Poland from the east 16 days after Germany invaded Poland from the west. Subsequent military operations lasted for yada, 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 yada. I'm not going to finish that. Let me see here. Sorry, I lost my place because that's what happens when you're reading this stuff. At the railroad station in Hamadan, Iran, on April 8th, 1942, Polish soldiers encountered a young Iranian boy who had found a bear cub whose mother had been shot by hunters. How sad. One of the civilian refugees in their midst, 18-year-old Irina Inka Berkiewicz, the great niece of General, I'm not even going to pronounce that name, Boslav something, this guy, great general of that, great niece of that guy right there. Here, let's make this a little smaller so you can see it better. Was taken with the cub. She prompted Lieutenant Antonol to buy the young cub, which spent the next 3 months in a Polish refugee camp established near the Tehran Principality under Irina's care. In August, the bear was donated to the 2nd Transport Company, which later became the 22nd Artillery Supply Company, and he was named Wojtek by the soldiers. You know, it's funny. I believe that's also a Werner Herzog film starring Klaus Kinski, Wojtek. I think. I'm almost positive it is. If anybody knows, correct me. The name Wojtek is the nickname diminutive. Is the nickname diminutive? What does diminutive mean? A diminutive is a root word that has been modified to convey a slighter degree of its root meaning to convey the smallness of the object. So, meaning like a word that we use to look down on people, I guess, or hypocrisism, a pet name of Wojtek, happy warrior. So Wojtek basically means happy warrior, which is what they named this bear. An old Slavic, I was right, Slavic name, still common in Poland. Wojtek initially had problems swallowing and was fed condensed milk from an old vodka bottle. Of course he was. He was subsequently given fruit, marmalade, honey, and syrup, and was often rewarded with beer, which became his favorite drink. A beer-drinking bear that fought in World War II. He also later enjoyed smoking or eating cigarettes. He loved cigarettes and coffee in the mornings. So they really treated him like one of the boys, you know? He would also sleep with other soldiers if they were ever cold in the night. He enjoyed wrestling with the soldiers and was taught to salute when greeted. He became an attraction for soldiers and civilians alike, and soon became the unofficial mascot to all units stationed nearby. With the 22nd Company, he moved to Iraq and then through Syria, Palestine/Israel, and Egypt. Wojtek copied other soldiers drinking beer, smoking, and even marching alongside them on his hind legs because he saw them do so. Wojtek had his own caregiver assigned to look after him. The cub grew up while on campaign, and by the time of the Battle of Monte Cassino, he weighed 200 pounds. A 200-pound bear. Private Wojtek. From Egypt, the Polish II Corps was reassigned to fight alongside the British 8th Army, which was the 8th Army was a field army formation of the British Army during the Second World War, fighting in, so this was the North African and Italian Army, because, you know, Italy and North Africa are really close together because of the Mediterranean Sea. Matter of fact, I think like Tripoli is like, you know, right across from the tip of Italy. Regulations for the British transport ship, which was to carry them to Italy, forbade the mascot and pet animals. To get around this restriction, Wojtek was officially okay. So another reason besides rations, in order to get on the ship, Wojtek was officially drafted into the Polish army as a private, enlisted amongst the soldiers of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. 2 soldiers were assigned as his caregivers. As an enlisted soldier with his own paybook, rank, and serial number. So he got paid. So he was getting paid. This was a bear getting paid. He lived with the other men in the tents or in a special wooden crate, which was transported by truck. During the Battle of Monte Cassino, Wojtek helped his unit to convey ammunition by carrying 100-pound crates of 25-pound artillery shells, never dropping any of them. Wow. So he's a 200 bear carrying half his weight. I mean, listen, when you're a bear carrying 200 pounds, it's not easy. While the story generated controversy over its accuracy, at least one account exists of a British soldier recalling seeing a bear carrying crates of ammo. The bear mimicked the soldiers when he saw the men lift crates, and he copied them. Wojtek carried boxes that normally required 4 men, which he would stack onto a truck or other ammunition boxes. This service at Monte Cassino earned him promotion to the rank of corporal. So this bear was so good at his job in the military that he became a corporal. In recognition of Wojtek's popularity, a depiction of a bear carrying an artillery shell was adopted as the official emblem of the 22nd Company, which is this right here. How cool. I wonder, tell me, Steve Kanicki, if you watch this video, is this your tattoo? I bet you that's what your tattoo is. If so, that's awesome. Wow, very cool. Post-war. After the end of World War II, in 1945, Wojtek was transported to Berwickshire, Scotland, with the rest of the 22nd Company. That's interesting. So the Polish units, or whatever, the Polish company went up to Scotland. They were stationed at Winfield Airfield on Sunwick Farm near the village of Hutton's Scottish borders. Wojtek soon became popular amongst local civilians and the press, and the Polish-Scottish Association made him an honorary member. Following the demobilization on the 15th of November in 1947, Wojtek was given to the Edinburgh Zoo, where he spent the rest of his life, often visited by journalists and former Polish soldiers, some of whom would toss cigarettes for him to eat, as he did during his time in the army. Media attention contributed to Wojtek's popularity. He was a frequent guest on BBC Television's Blue Peter program for children. He died in December 1963 at the age of 21. At the time of his death, he weighed nearly 35 stone. That's 490 pounds. So he put on double and 2.5 times his weight. Sorry, 1.5 times his weight, and was over 6 feet tall. So 1.5 times his weight since the military. Legacy. There are many memorials to the soldier bear, including a plaque in the Imperial War Museum in London, a sculpture by David Harding in another museum in London, and a wooden sculpture in the Wheelsby Woods, Grimsby. That's cool. In 2013, the Krakow City Council decided to erect a statue of Wojtek. I mean, this is like, is this not ripe for Steven Spielberg to adapt this? He did War Horse. Now he's got to do War Bear, you know? In Jordan Park, there was a statue elected of the bear on the 70th anniversary of the Battle of Monte Cassino. In 2013, the city Edinburgh Council approved the erection of another bronze statue by Alan Betty Harriet to stand at the city's West Prince Street Gardens. So lots of statues, basically. And here's some of the statues. So here's some of the stuff. There's one right there. Let's make this a little bigger. So there's one statue. There's another statue seen with ammunition boxes right there. There's another one. He's saying, "I am Wojtek, hear me roar." Roar. Here's another one probably with his trainer, caretaker. There's another one holding an artillery shell. Boy, he was a beloved bear. And there's another photo, same statue. And that is the story of Wojtek the bear. So how about that? I guess that's all I got. Listen, if you like this content, please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. It really helps with the algorithms. Great way to support the channel. There are other ways to support the creation of this content, go to fromus.com, click on some of the ads, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, that's basically it. So lastly, what do you want to see me read on Wikipedia with my colorful commentary that I like to bring to the table? You let me know. Tell me in the comments, what should I read next on Wikipedia? This has been Jeff, who reads Wikipedia. Have a wonderful day.